All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into exactly how you can snag the absolute best smartphone for under a $400 budget that actually fits your specific lifestyle. We've pulled together some extensive, recent testing by tech experts to show you exactly what you can get for your hard-earned money right now.
So let's just kick things off with a pretty provocative question, right? Can you actually get flagship-level performance for under $400 in 2026? Well, the answer might surprise you. Finding the right budget device is no longer about settling for a bad phone. Instead, it's all about choosing the right compromises. The tech has just gotten so incredibly good that the whole baseline for what we consider a cheap phone has completely transformed. Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to look at the sub-$400 budget renaissance first, and then jump into some specific user profiles, the mobile gaming powerhouse, the ultimate battery champions, the style and software purist, and finally, we'll look at some ultra-affordable alternatives.
Okay, let's jump right into Section 1, the sub-$400 budget renaissance, and why cheap no longer means bad.
I love this quote from Trusted Reviews. They recently pointed out that in 2026, spending over $1,000 on a phone feels incredibly hard to justify. And honestly, they hit the nail right on the head. You literally don't need a $1,000 premium handset anymore unless you're actually using all those crazy extras, like bleeding-edge zoom lenses or titanium frames. For most of us, those are luxuries, not necessities.
Here's the deal. Budget phones right now are easily offering active 5G connectivity, incredibly smooth displays, and battery life that honestly puts a lot of flagships to shame, all well under that $400 mark. But, and it's a big but, at this price point, every single phone has to make some kind of trade-off to keep the cost down. So our goal today is to help you figure out what your personal priorities are so we can perfectly align those inevitable trade-offs with your daily life.
All right, moving on to Section 2, the mobile gaming powerhouse. This one is for all you performance seekers out there.
If you're big into mobile gaming, you've got to check out the Poco F7. It absolutely steamrolls the competition in its class. For around £389, you're getting a really high-end Snapdragon 8S Gen 4 processor. Add to that a massive 6.83-inch, 1.5K AMOLED display running at a buttery smooth 120 Hz, and a battery that goes from 0 to 100% in just 40 minutes. It sounds almost too good to be true, right?
But, like we talked about, here is the inevitable trade-off pivot. Yeah, you get those blazing fast gaming specs and a giant 2-day 6,500 mAh battery. But to pull that off, Poco had to compromise. The cameras are definitely a significant weak point. Plus, Xiaomi's HyperOS comes pretty stuffed with pre-installed bloatware. So if you just want to load up heavy 3D games and play for hours, you won't care about the cameras at all. But if photography is your main thing, this definitely isn't your phone.
Let's pivot over to Section 3, the ultimate battery champions. This is for the never-die user.
Now this is wild. Just look at these massive battery capacities we're seeing in the budget space right now. The Honor Magic 8 Lite is packing 7,500 mAh, and the Motorola Edge 70 Fusion hits 7,000. To put that into perspective, your average $1,000 premium flagship usually hovers around just 5,000. So we're talking nearly 50% more capacity in these budget devices.
So how do you pick between these two battery beasts? Well, the Honor Magic gives you extreme durability. We're talking an IP69K rating, meaning it can literally survive high-pressure water jets alongside that insane 7,500 mAh battery. The catch? The Snapdragon 6 Gen 4 processor is pretty weak. On the flip side, the Motorola Edge 70 Fusion gives you an incredibly fluid 144 Hz AMOLED screen for ultra-smooth scrolling, but it saddles you with a pretty messy AI experience and some space-filling junk cameras. Neither of these is going to win any photography awards, but man, both will easily last you 2 full days on a single charge.
Okay, Section 4, the style and software purist, for the design lover.
Enter the Nothing Phone 4a. If you feel like every other phone looks totally mundane, this one is designed to turn heads. It rocks this iconic glyph lighting system. It's basically a space-age, transparent back panel with a customizable LED lighting array that you can use for notifications, timers, or just pure aesthetic flair. It's a really striking visual statement in a sea of identical glass slabs.
And this brilliantly proves you don't have to sacrifice style on a budget. For just $349, you get that distinctive transparent build, but honestly, the best part is Nothing OS. It's this wonderfully clean, completely ad-free user experience with gorgeous iOS-style widgets and system colors. Plus, the cameras are actually excellent for the price point, And while the 50-80 mAh battery is smaller than those champions we just looked at, testing shows it still delivers a highly respectable 17.5 hours of continuous use.
But you guessed it, there's a catch for the style purists. For those premium aesthetics, clean software, and solid cameras, you're getting a phone that's physically heavier and less durable than a lot of its rivals. You're also looking at pretty minimal raw performance gains with its Snapdragon 7S Gen 4 chip and a shorter guaranteed software support lifecycle. So it's a fantastic, stylish daily driver for sure, but it is definitely not a rugged, heavy-duty gaming rig.
Finally, Section 5, the ultra-affordable alternatives, tailor-made for extreme value seekers.
$199.99, just under $200. That sets an incredibly low anchor for what is, honestly, a surprisingly capable smartphone in 2026. If you thought $400 required compromises, just wait till you see how they managed to hit half that price.
Meet the Samsung Galaxy A17 5G. For under $200, you're actually getting an active 5G connection, a smooth 90Hz display, an IP54 rating to protect against dust and splashes, and cameras that genuinely impress for this bracket. But the real headline here, longevity. Samsung is committing to an unheard of 6 years of security updates for this sub-$200 device. That is just extraordinary long-term value.
Now, of course, it's not a speed demon by any stretch. By opting for those massive financial savings, you have to accept an outdated processor and pretty limited RAM. It's definitely not going to run the latest games smoothly, and your multitasking might stutter a bit. But hey, if basic usability, like making calls, checking emails, and scrolling social media, combined with absolute long-term reliability are your main goals, this is simply an unbeatable value proposition. So, to wrap up this explainer, finding your perfect sub-$400 match really just boils down to a simple 3-step process. First, you gotta honestly identify your top daily priority. Are you gaming? Do you need the battery to never die? Do you want a stylish UI? Or do you just need basic communications? Second, embrace the inevitable hardware trade-offs that come with that choice. And third, just enjoy those flagship-level specs in the one specific category that actually matters to you. I want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. Which smartphone compromise are you most willing to make to keep $600 or even more in your pocket? Are you willing to ditch premium cameras for a massive multi-day battery? Or maybe give up raw gaming power for a sleek, transparent design? Think about what you actually use your phone for every single day and let that guide your upgrade. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and